Okay guys, let's do 2025 reading wrap up. 2025 reading wrap up. Okay. So, let's talk about some of these books. Okay. So, in 2025, I read a total of 33 books. 33 books. I thought that I read a total of 50 books, but Goodreads is doing some weird thing where if I download a book onto my Kindle, it doesn't know what the book is, and then but Kindle knows what the book is, so it doubles some of the books, which is so freaking annoying. So I actually only read 33 books this year, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but it's okay. It's still over my goal. My goal was to read 20, and I read 33. So let's go through a few of those books. Let's get a little wrap up of 2025, just some top things. So, the most traumatic books I read in 2025. That title would have to go to Taming 7 and Releasing 10. These guys definitely did me in. Taming 7 and Releasing 10. They really shook me. I thought about them for a long time. I still think about these books. These books make me fear allowing my children to be around anyone, allowing my children to be left alone with anyone, allowing my children to be in a mixed family situation, and even around other children. Other children are threats too, especially children perhaps because more adults aren't wary of children. So yeah, these were especially traumatizing, and they were good books, but they hit deep, they hit hard. So these are definitely the most traumatic books I've read in 2025. Do an honorable mention for Hunting Adeline. Hunting Adeline was also very traumatizing for me. Some of the scenes were just really brutal, really graphic. It had a lot of really hard things in there to read, things that I don't know that I could endure, and I don't know how this woman endured them. So yeah, Hunting Adeline is also very much up there. I read that on Kindle, so I don't have that physical copy, and I'm glad I don't, because whereas these books were enjoyable, these were traumatizing, but not unnecessarily so. This is you need to read this. You need to have your eyes opened to the reality of the world and to the reality of you don't know anyone. You don't know what anyone is going through, so you shouldn't be judging people. You shouldn't be mean to people because you really don't know what their home life is like. You don't know what they're going through, so just treat everyone with kindness. That is the takeaway that I got from these books. And even the people who seem the most happy can be the people with the most trauma. So I don't know. These I feel like you definitely should read, although make sure you're in the mental space to get through some traumatic things. However, Hunting Adeline, it just was unnecessarily traumatic. I don't know that I needed to read that book. I don't know that it taught me anything. I just was traumatized without being taught anything. So without a moral of the story. Yeah. And then she goes back to someone who abused her at the end. So it's just, Hunting Adeline was weird. Hunting Adeline, I think I gave Hunting Adeline 2 stars, and I gave Hunting Adeline 3 stars maybe, or maybe the opposite. But yeah, I don't even recommend those books to people. I don't know, TikTok just be recommending anything. So yeah, these are for the most traumatic reads right here. Then let's move on to the most overhyped books that I read in 2025. So TikTok especially likes to really overhype books, and for me, that means I end up reading things that just aren't that good, or I end up buying things without thinking, without having read them, because I'm just oh, everyone says it's so good, and then I read them and I'm disappointed that I spent my money on them. So this year in 2025, actually, my 2025 quote-unquote resolution is to not buy any books that I haven't read yet. to thoroughly read only from my physical TBR, complete my physical TBR, continue checking off my physical TBR, and then if I want to read a new book that TikTok recommends, read it on Kindle first, and then if I don't like it, then I don't have a physical copy of it and it's not on my shelf just like taking up space from a potential really good book. I have a few books like that like I need to find a way to get rid of. I don't know, I wish I had one of those like book donation boxes like in my neighborhood or something. That would be really cute. We should start something like that, like at the masjid or something. That would be really cool. But yeah, so moving on to the most overhyped, like I just said, for me, one of the most overhyped books was The Silent Patient. Don't come for me, okay? The Silent Patient, like, it was cool, it was okay, it wasn't terrible, but for me, it's a 3-star read. 3-star means that you definitely overhyped it. I do not need to have this on my shelf. I could have read it on Kindle and left it there. Honestly, I didn't even read the physical copy. I read it on Kindle. So for people who are like, oh, over 4 million copies sold wide, I'm just not impressed, Alex. I'm not impressed. I felt like it was boring. It was a bit boring. Like, it dragged on a little bit for like the first 75% of the book. Honestly, like, it dragged on. It was a very slow read, I feel like. I mean, it was confusing. I was a little confused as to what was going on. I didn't necessarily guess the ending. I think I guessed some aspects of it, but not the complete plot twist. So I think that's why I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't terrible. It was okay. It was a cool read. It just wasn't the best read of my life, and it wasn't the most memorable book. Like, for me, a 5-star read has to be something that's incredibly memorable and life-changing. Like, I view the world differently after reading that book. This book is not one that I view the world differently after reading. I could have gone my entire life without reading it, and frankly, it's forgettable. A lot of parts of the book is forgettable for me. I've forgotten like the specifics of it. It was cool, and I only read it like maybe 3 months ago. So yeah, sorry TikTok, this was a no. This was a no for me. But my second most overhyped book, I will say, has to go to The Housemaid. Yes, I know, The Housemaid. I know y'all love this one. Y'all love The Housemaid. Y'all love Afrida McFadden. And I was a bit disappointed that this is her most hyped book. This is what she's most famous for. However, I will be going to see the movie. Absolutely will be going to see the movie. I'm pretty sure I gave The Housemaid 3 stars. Why? It was predictable. It was absolutely predictable. I absolutely predicted the ending. I knew it was gonna happen. It felt very typical. Like, it just didn't subvert my expectations. It was cool, it was entertaining, shall I say, but just, I don't want to, like, if I'm reading a thriller, I don't want to be able to guess what's going to happen next. I do not want to guess the ending. I do not want to guess the plot twist. I want to be surprised. I want to be shook. Like, I want to be shooketh as I'm reading the book. I want to audibly gasp while I'm reading. I want to be I want to have to put the book down for a second. Let me put the book down because I'm just so shook. Like, my heart is just palpitating. I don't know what's going on. What's gonna happen next? I have to like fly through the last pages. That was not The Housemaid. I'm sorry. Frida, I'm just not convinced that you're the best thriller writers have to offer. And I'm interested in finding another potential thriller artist that is better than Frida, because I'm not impressed so far. I've read about 4 of her books, 3 or 4 of her books, and so far just not entirely impressed. Only one of them did I kind of like, because I didn't guess the plot twist at the end. But I still think I might have rated that 3.5 stars, 4 stars maybe. Definitely not a 5-star read. So nothing yet from Frida has given me 5-star. You know, I'm not gonna give up on her though, because people must be like hyped up on her for some reason, but I just haven't seen it yet. So The Housemaid for me, The Housemaid and The Silent Patient, most overhyped book of 2025 that I read. Now, the best romance of 2025 will have to go to Binding 13 and Keeping 13. Yes, I do have a physical copy of Binding 13. My sister stole it, so we're just gonna have to work with Keeping 13 for right now. And my Binding 13 cover is so beautiful. She better not mess up that book. Shout out to Asya Ishmael. Like, give me my book back, bruh. I just hate when the bookshelf is missing books, because then it just has a weird gap. It pisses me off, but it's fine. It's okay. I have been convincing her to read Binding 13 and the entire series. I've been trying to get her to read it. I think she just recently finished Binding 13, so she's gonna need to be giving me back my book expeditiously. Now she's on Keeping 13, and I will say the best romance of the year that I read is Binding 13 in addition to Keeping 13, because it is part 2 of the same story, so I have to be the best. It just was so good. I really ate this. I ate the entire series up, honestly. I ate the entire Boys of Tommen series up. I also liked the book about Joey. I like that one too, but I think I might have liked this more. Sorry, I know people like Joey more, but I don't know. I think Johnny might have did it for me. Yeah, there were some aspects of it that were a little bit cringy, but like I honestly flew through the book. I really enjoyed it, and like I think it's just because she's a teenager, so naturally it's gonna be a little bit more cringy for people who are out of that stage. But it took me back. Like, it made me think of when I was a teenager and like imagining myself as a teenager going through these things, and I don't know, I just was really thoroughly impressed by it. Like, I loved it. I flew through it. Not to mention there are some crazy plot twists in this book. These 2 books, like, there's some crazy plot twists and like crazy things that happen. So like the emotional gut-wrenching punch happens multiple times in these books. You're shedding a few tears. You're shooketh. Okay, I love a book that's gonna have me shooketh. You are shooketh from the things that happen in this book. You're literally like, oh no, like what's happening? Oh my gosh, like crying, literally crying tears. That's what I want. That's what I want in a book. This book is not like as traumatic as Taming 7 or Releasing 10. It is traumatic in its own way, but not in the same way as those books. So I feel like this is a little bit easier to digest, but still has traumatic emotional elements in it. And I feel like that just really added to my love of the book. Like, it just really gave me even more of an attachment to the book, to the characters. And I just love the love interest. I love how he just swooped in and gave her everything that she was missing in her life, and didn't look at her differently because of her background, because of her traumatic upbringing, because of her life. Like, he just loved her for who she was, and he was there for her, for everything that she needed, and she in turn also supported him through his dreams. And I just feel like they are just a beautiful couple. Like, they are a beautiful match for each other, and I loved it. I don't know what I can say except that I love it, and I totally recommend these 2 books. So this is my best romance of 2025. Now, the saddest book that I read in 2025 would have to go to The Winter Garden. The Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. Oh my gosh, like that book had me in tears. I know Kristen Hanna, she does a lot of very tearful books. She does a lot of war books, war-torn trauma. That had to do with Winter Garden as well, so those elements were present in Winter Garden, but it had me tearing up. It absolutely had me tearing up. I was so sad for the main character. It essentially just talks about this main character who's like an old woman who's misunderstood by her daughters because she's kind of closed off, but she experienced so much trauma in the war before becoming their mother that created how she interacts with her daughters. And the book kind of tells her story like through her daughter's point of view as she's hearing it from her mother, and it is just so sad the things that she went through. Like, It is so sad, so eye-opening to what it is like to live through war and live through war-torn countries, and having to live your life one day and then wake up all of a sudden and literally your country is at war. Literally, you're just being bombed, like in the middle of your city, in the middle of your country, in the middle of your town. You're just living your life one day, and next you're just being bombed, and you have to flee to the basement with your children, and like you don't know if you're going to survive the next day. You don't know if you're going to have food to feed your children. You're slowly watching your children starve to death. You're starving yourself to death because you'd rather feed them than feed yourself. But you know that if I don't eat, no one is going to be able to take care of them. Then they truly will die. So it's like you can't even give them as much of the food as you want. You can't give them all of your food because you have to have enough strength in order to make it to work, in order to get the food, in order to get the rations, and in order to cook the food, because you have 2 young children. But your 2 young children are starving before your eyes. It was terrible. Absolutely so gut-wrenching and sad, and oh my gosh. And then your husband leaves off to war. It's just you and these 2 little babies. Your husband has to leave to go to the front lines. You're by yourself, taking care of y'all by yourself. You have to leave your children alone to go to work every day. It is so sad. So that is the saddest book I read, The Winter Garden. The most eye-opening book goes hand in hand with The Winter Garden, is going to be The Women by Kristen Hanna. Now, Kristen Hanna, she really be doing her thing. I love me some Kristen Hanna so far. Everything that I've read by her is so good. The Women is about the women who served in Vietnam War. Now, these women are often overlooked. Nobody talks about the women in Vietnam War. Okay, I didn't know anything about the women in Vietnam War. Like, I knew mostly about Vietnam veterans who were men, and they talk about how there are women veterans. Nobody knows this, and the women veterans were treated even worse than the male veterans because everybody was looking at them like, oh, you didn't do combat, you shouldn't be traumatized, we don't have anything for you, go get married and have some kids and relax. But they had PTSD. They were dropping and dodging bombs while trying to sew up somebody's gash. Like, they saw children being bombed, and like, oh my gosh, it was absolutely terrible, absolutely gut-wrenching, absolutely awful, the things that they had to witness and endure in the Vietnam War. Honestly, why do we as human beings go to war in the first place? Like, why are we warring? Like, war just brings so much pain and trauma, and like, it is so unnecessary. Why can't we just be nice and love each other? Why can't everybody just stay in their own lane and mind their business? Why are you in other people's business? Why are you starting wars with people? Why? Because you know who pays the price? These citizens, the average citizens, the citizens that you're plucking out of their homes and sending off somewhere to die, right? The citizens that are being attacked, they're literally civilians, and they're getting bombs dropped on them, they're getting napalmed. Why are you doing this to children, to babies? Nobody deserves this. Nobody deserves this. And still, till this day, we don't learn our lesson. We continue to go to war with people. We continue to bomb people. We continue to starve people. We continue to fight people. Civilians, babies, mothers. How are y'all doing this? How do y'all not have any sort of code of conduct? If you're gonna go to war, have some sort of code of conduct. Don't be bombing random towns and cities with civilians in it. Soldiers, you 2 soldiers, go to the battlefield and soldier it out. But even then, people are left without their fathers, without their caretakers, without their husbands. Unnecessary behavior. Completely unnecessary, completely traumatic, completely terrible. You have to read The Women. You gotta read The Women. The Women, The Winter Garden, both 5-star reads for me. This was the most eye-opening, I'd say, because I really didn't know anything at all about women in the Vietnam War, or about what they might have gone through, and about the trauma that comes with being a nurse in war. It's not just the soldiers that are traumatized, but being a nurse, and then to come back and have your service dismissed, to come back and people are acting like you're not even a real nurse. You don't know anything. Go clean a dustpan. Not a dustpan. A bedpan. Go empty a bedpan, bro. I was in war. I was under the threat of bombs. When the power cut out, I'm arms deep in someone's abdomen trying to save a life. And you're gonna tell me when I come back to go clean a bedpan because I don't know anything? You don't know anything. You don't know how to be under pressure the way that I did. You don't know. But then her PTSD makes it so that as she's trying to just work normally, then all of a sudden she's like panicking and in sweats and can't remember where she is and can't figure it out while she's about to go help in surgery. So then that also is a no. So it's crazy how the human mind, we're just like in those stressed environments, we're somehow able to cope and do what we have to do. But remove us from those environments and we're a mess. We can't even do the things that we used to be able to do under the stress. So now that I'm out and I'm safe, I don't feel safe. My body still doesn't feel safe. I'm being brought back into that situation and I can't stay in the present and actually apply those skills that I learned while I was over there. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely awful. Read The Women. Then the most fun read of 2025. The most fun read will have to go to Sunrise on the Reaping. I have to say this because I love Suzanne Collins. My favorite series ever is The Hunger Games. Nothing will ever top The Hunger Games for me. So this was the most anticipated read of 2025 for me. I was so excited when this book came out. As soon as it came out, I ran to Target and I picked me up a copy, and they had it as soon as I opened the doors right in front of me. Beautiful books, my favorite color, okay? Purple book for me, my favorite color, right there for me. As soon as I opened the door, they knew what I wanted. I go and I get her, and I immediately start reading. So this was the funnest book that I read. Fun because, like, most anticipated. I'm going back into a world that I know that I already love. I love The Hunger Games. So getting able to go back into that world, almost like getting to read it for the first time, because I never read this book. I don't know what Haymitch's story is. I only know the little bits and pieces that we're able to get from the original series, but getting to go into his full story, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it, and that's what made it 5 stars. Not because it's the best book ever. I will say it is not the best book ever. It is not the best book in the series. It is not the best book as a standalone. As a standalone, I wouldn't say it's the best book, but it was the most fun for me to read because of my attachment to The Hunger Games, because of my attachment to this world. It was so easy for me to just jump back in, and I loved every second of being in this book. Now, if I were to critique it, I'd say there was some room for improvement. Perhaps even I would have liked it to be a bit longer. It's a bit on the thinner side as far as the Hunger Games books go. I would have liked it to be more along the length of Songbirds and Snakes. Like that thickness we could have gotten here. I could have got a little more background on Haymitch, a little more background on his love interest. I don't even remember her name. That's a problem. See? I don't feel like they spent enough time on the love interest here. We could have had a bit more romance. The Hunger Games part, absolutely loved it. However, I could have used some more romance. It could have used some more background, some more, just to give us a little more depth with the characters. Honestly, reading in Haymitch's head, I felt Haymitch didn't give much personality. You know, he didn't give much personality. He didn't give much Haymitch. It could be because going through what he went through completely changed who he was as a person. But even still, he doesn't seem like much of a person, if that makes sense. Like, he just seems like any just generic, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like I would have liked a little bit more perhaps snarkiness from him, you know? Like, I don't know, something that called home to the Haymitch we knew a little bit more. I would have liked that. And a little bit more background, a little bit more romance. Yeah. Could have used a bit longer of a book, Suzanne. You could have gave us a little bit more to work with. I finished this rather quickly, and I would have liked to stay in it a bit longer. So yeah, still funnest book 2025. Best book overall, I'm bringing it back. The best book overall that I read is Sunrise on the Reaping. And I know I just critiqued it. It's okay to critique things that you love. You just want better. It's okay. It's okay to critique things that you love. Like I said, I had the most fun in this book. I enjoyed every minute of me being in this book. There wasn't a second that I was in this book that I was like, can we please get to the point? No, I loved being in this book, and I wish it was longer. That's how much I loved it. So most fun read, best book of all, most anticipated read of 2025. She's it. And let's go to lowest rated books of 2025. Now, my lowest rating of 2025 was 2 stars. I'm really like strict on giving a book 1 star. Like, it has to be really awful terrible, and I'm just a little bit more generous than that. I feel like a 1 star rating is pretty bad. So the lowest rating that I've given is a 2 star. The 2 star ratings are Death Row by Freida McFadden. It's like a small novella, absolutely purposeless of a novella. You could have kept this to yourself. Why did you even do this? What was the point of it? It was a waste of time for me personally. It didn't make any absolute sense. I didn't understand the point. What are we doing here? Not even scared. There's no heart palpitations. Like, I'm just confused and annoyed. And then when I end the book, I'm still confused and annoyed. I don't like that. I don't like when you toy with me like that, Freida. I don't like it. 2 star. Hunting Adeline, as I just talked about earlier, the most traumatic book. It was unnecessarily traumatizing. I did not like reading that book. I did not like being in that book. And I was like cringing from the trauma, if that makes sense. Like, you're imagining it being done to you almost, and you just was like, oh my god, this is terrible, awful. I wanted to throw the book across the room. That was Hunting Adeline. 2 stars. Why did you do that to me? Why did you feel like it was necessary to do that? What was the point of it, and why are we romanticizing aspects of it? 2 stars. And then we have Layla. I talked in length about Layla on my last reading vlog. The reading vlog of, oh, here we go. Layla, I forgot you were here. The reading vlog of November. I read her in November and I hated her. 2 stars. I gave her 2 stars. Now, I mean, honestly, if I were to give a book 1 star, maybe it would have been, no, I don't know. 1 star is kind of crazy for me. 2 stars still for Layla. I did not like her. I did not like the main character. We're in a man's head the entire time, and it sucked. Did not want to be there. He was very self-centered and just not like a good person. He really didn't treat his girlfriend how he should have. And I don't like his behavior in the book. I don't like how he tried to justify his actions. It was wrong. There's a lot of wrong things with this book. And it just wasn't enjoyable. It's not an enjoyable read. I had to force myself to get through it. I don't like books that I have to force myself to get through. Maybe in the beginning there's a little bit of a lead up. I give you to about 30%. If we're surpassing 30% and I'm still not hooked on the book, and I'm still forcing myself to get through, forcing myself to turn pages, forcing myself to pick it up, it's a bad book. It's a no for me. So 2 stars. 2 stars. And the longest book I read was Releasing 10. Look at her. She's a thickum. Releasing 10 was 730 pages. 730 pages. This was my thickest, longest book of 2025. And I feel like I devoured this. I loved, it was a really good book, shall I say. It's a really hard read, but there's so much going on. There's so much to process. You really are just trying to figure out what is going on, what is going to happen next. You're on the edge of it's practically a thriller. Like, it's like that. Like, you're on the edge of your seat wondering, like, girl, don't do that. Are y'all going to catch him or what? What is wrong with you? Say something. This is where we're at. And then there's the romance aspect, and it's just like, Lizzie and Hugh, I love you guys, and I want y'all to work out. I'm waiting for the next book. I'm at the edge of my seat for the next book. Yeah. Loved it. 5 star. And yeah. So that is going to be my reading wrap up. For 2025. Yeah. Bye.